I'm Nadine, and this is a German Shepherd. And 5 minutes into this short, sweet, and somewhat wacky video, I'm going to reveal how that German Shepherd holds the key to make any man go insane with love for you. I'm talking about having a man who gets rivers of tingles up and down his spine whenever he thinks about you. A man who has a secret infatuation with you, like a boyhood crush he can't escape. When you walk into the room, he'll get somewhat queasy and so clumsy he can barely keep his balance. His palms will bead with sweat the moment his eyes meet yours, and he'll be praying every night that you'll want him as desperately as he wants you. And I'm not talking about any cheesy game your man tactic you may have heard of. I'm talking about a completely unique, science-based technique that's as simple as copy and paste. Just do it, and it's guaranteed you'll fill him up with powerful desire. He'll feel pitter-patters in his heart just thinking about you, explosions of excitement like a row of firecrackers just by you picking up the phone. In this video, just minutes from now, I'm going to show you the technique that's turned over 2,000 unhappy women's relationships 180 degrees into vivacious, ultra-passionate, emotionally intimate, lasting love affairs that stir pangs of envy from other women everywhere they go. It doesn't matter what your love and relationship experiences have been, single or attached. You will be shocked at doors it can open in your man's mind and heart. And for many of you, learning this technique or not will decide if he sticks to you or splits with you. Best of all, the technique is foolproof. See, we've proven scientifically that whenever this technique is used, men change on a dime, almost like he's under a hypnotic spell. He'll be seeking you out like you're a precious, valuable gold in 1849, counting you, writing poems to you, cooking dinner for you, listening to your every word like it's the last word he'll ever hear. And believe it or not, if the man has rejected you in the past, that just makes the technique work even stronger. I won't lie, once you use this technique, he will become emotionally vulnerable and open to you. You'll crack him open like an almond, and he'll be so open and able to love you that he'll probably have trouble concentrating on anything he does. This technique also acts like relationship sticky glue, creating instant and permanent bonding between him and you. The thought of leaving you will horrify him. He'll have no choice but to stay with you. He'll need you as much as he needs oxygen to breathe, to live. So if you're ready for the kind of relationship that lights up your life, that makes you shine and sparkle from the inside out, a relationship that's effortless, exciting, solid as a rock, as strong and as beautiful as a diamond, then hold tight. Don't miss a second. I have to warn you of a couple of things before I reveal the method. First of all, once you know how to create a love addiction in a man, you will be a changed woman. You can't unlearn this skill, and it's a lot of power to have. You need to be careful how you use and who you use it on, because in just a day of using this technique, you can make a man dumbstruck by you, ready and willing to change almost anything, in any way he has to, just to make you feel happy, safe, and secure with him forever. Sworn not only to love you, but to love you exactly how you want to be loved. Which brings me to my second warning. This is probably going to be your only chance to get this technique for free. And that's because this video is normally part of our paid members area. As part of our little marketing test, we're allowing the public to see it for just a short period of time. Once the test is over, we go back into paid mode, and you will miss out. And I know you don't want that to happen to you, because this technique gives you joy and power like you've never felt in your life. Best part? Anyone can succeed with it. No matter how many nights you've laid awake and alone in bed feeling confused and bewildered by why real love keeps passing you by. No matter how many crushing rejections you've had, how many bad dates, or if you're with a guy who just won't open up his heart to you, you're a hero for keeping at it. And I want to promise you, love is at your fingertips. See, what you might not realize is that, single or otherwise, men desperately want to get close and intimate with you. It may not feel like it, but trust me on this. All men have this most powerful floodgate of love waiting to open and flow directly to the woman he desires, to you. Deep down, men want to share their most sensitive and intimate parts with you. Every man craves this, even more than you do. But that said, each of them is closely guarded. They're truly intimate parts buried deep underground in a treasure chest that's under lock and key. This cracks open that chest. And as I mentioned before, I'm Nadine Piat. You may have seen me on national radio, television, or the articles I've written as the leading dating columnist in newspapers worldwide. I've been called the therapist who knows how to create love out of thin air. Because for 12 years, I've been doing one thing: helping to turn loveless, ice-cold marriages and relationships into thrilling relationships where both partners feel like they found their eternal soulmate. But this isn't about me. It's all about you. And I've got very good news for you. Learning how to crack open that treasure chest isn't difficult, tricky, or awkward. It's really easy. It will feel completely natural, and it's something you can actually implement today. And when you do, you will have done something for this man that most likely no woman has ever done for him in his life. This will allow you to wield so much power over him, it's scary. If you're having trouble finding a man, use this, and it won't be long before you have your pick. And if you're in a relationship already, marriage is a certainty, and way faster than you ever thought. He will lose all desire to look anywhere else but at you. His only desire will be to emotionally support you, to find ways to fill you up with love and affection and care tenderly for your every want and need. And he'll want that more deeply than he's ever wanted anything in his life. For many women who use this, they can barely recognize their man. Within a few days, you may just find him spilling his heart out to you like a sweet child, cherishing you like a rare gem, and making his favorite hobby wowing you every single day. And you'll be his best friend by a mile, the only person he truly wants to spend time with. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can one technique possibly do all that? And what's the German Shepherd got to do with it? Great questions, and I'm going to answer them all by sharing a little story that happened not so long ago. Meet Paul and Lauren. Names changed to protect privacy. Paul came into my practice, cold as ice and uninterested. Lauren came in on the verge of a nervous breakdown, trembling, eyes cast down and looking haggard. They'd been dating for 7 years, but 6 months ago, she caught Paul sending flirty, sexy, and even downright dirty text messages with another woman, and then another woman. Lauren said he'd never been like this. She said things weren't great, but Paul was always at least loyal. Now he wouldn't talk to her. He wouldn't even look at her, not a glance. She couldn't stop crying. As she explained it, she was in utter agony. She could barely get out the words as she wiped her tears, looked into my eyes and said, "Can you please help us? Is there anything you can do?" Of course, I'd worked with many singles and couples who were in emotional turmoil and at the end of their tether. I'd experienced all types of situations, yet this was something different. I'd never seen a woman so broken, shattered, as though her heart was broken into a million pieces and scattered across the floor, then stomped on. It affected me deeply, and when they left, I had a silent little cry of my own. I told her I would do everything I possibly could. Paul came into my office next. I had trouble getting straight answers from him. His heart was tightly guarded, and there was no budging. It was under lock and key, and he clearly didn't want to be there. He was fumbling for something he could say that would justify himself. And then it came out. He said, "I'm leaving her next week. I'm just not into her anymore." Just like that. No explanation, no remorse. I didn't want to break the news to Lauren. That might just be more than she could handle right now. And on my walk home, I started thinking about how much I wanted to save this once beautiful relationship. It required a drastic change, though. We needed something that ran really deep to create a lasting change in Paul, a way to get past the massive emotional wall he had around himself. But we also needed something that worked fast. I was walking through my favorite park, where I always get my best ideas, and I started to reflect on the hundreds of counseling sessions I'd had with male clients that had been exclusively referred to me by a well-known matchmaking company. And it was all coming back to me like a collage in my mind. About 10 minutes into this walk, a golden thought hit me like a lightning bolt. A new technique that would address the real reason why men wouldn't commit and open their hearts. Somebody upstairs seemed to be on my side that day, because this was something completely original that satisfies the need of every man in a place that very, very few women knew how to access. It all became crystal clear. I knew exactly what Lauren needed to do. I called her on her cell right then and there, and I said, "I've got something you need to do." She said, "I'm not picking up your dry cleaning." At least she kept her sense of humor. I said, "No, something you need to do for Paul, and you need to do it tonight." She said, "I'm listening." I laid the one specific thing she could do differently tonight than she'd done every other night. And then she started to laugh. She said, "That's it?" I said, "Yup, that's it." "Will it really work?" she said. I said, "You won't know unless you try it, right?" I couldn't wait to hear what happened. The next morning, she calls me, and just from the way she said hello, I knew the news wasn't good. She says, "He didn't even notice what I did. It's hopeless, Nadine. Why drag this out?" I said, "Don't worry. He noticed. He's just not ready yet. Keep going. Here's what I want you to do tonight." The next morning, she calls me to say that still nothing major has changed. I said, "Nothing?" She said, "Well, there was this one thing. I'd gotten my hair cut a week ago, which he hadn't noticed. And as he was walking into the kitchen, he looked at me and said, 'Oh, that's new,' referring to my hair. Then he left for work. But that was a really small thing." I said, "It isn't small, Lauren. It's working. Keep going. Here's what I want you to do tomorrow night." And then, after the third try, she said, "Wow, Nadine, the changes started happening faster. He started texting me at work to see how I was doing. Every time he went out, he'd come back with some thoughtful gift for me. And he started complimenting me on my cooking. He never did that, even when things were good. I also noticed he started looking me in the eye. The whole vibe he was giving off was very different, sort of like the Paul I fell in love with. The spark was back, the electricity building, and when I checked in with him a few weeks later, it was a bonfire. Lauren tells me that she has to pinch herself every day to make sure it's real. Paul and her have never been more into each other. In fact, she's never experienced a relationship like this with any guy. She said she never knew Paul could be so loving, so tender, so besotted with her. It was like he was addicted to her. She said it felt like she was in some kind of romance novel. As I speak with you today, Paul and Lauren have been married for 8 months, and she's expecting a baby girl. I knew right away this was it. This was the technique that will change the lives of women everywhere. Now, I suspected it would work on other relationship and dating situations, but I needed to make sure. So I started using the secret with my other clients. And suddenly, I was accomplishing in one session what used to take me 10. Nearly every time I shared it, I saw women having the biggest aha moment of their lives. And once they implemented the simple technique, their men were transforming. The more they did it, the deeper the passion grew. Over and over again, it just kept working. It was like we had a match we could use to light a fire in a man's heart within days. It was like guys had no power over the process. It created flamingly passionate movie love, the kind of love most yearn for yet never experience. That is, until now. It worked for singles and couples alike, and it created relationships that just baffled other women and made them jealous like crazy. I came to realize that every human being is actually built to love like this. This is the way it was always meant to be. We were just never shown the path. I know you're ready to explode, waiting to find out. What is this technique? And how is the German Shepherd the key to it all? So I won't hold you in suspense any longer. Allow me to explain. When women actually get into a relationship with a man, a lot of them are surprised about something. They notice that their men turn out to be a lot more sensitive than they first appeared. They noticed how, when you get right down to it, they can't seem to take any criticism at all. If they do something wrong, time and again, they're going to try to shift blame to you, asking you if it's that time of the month, how you're being needy. Eventually, they spend their time trying to get away from you and becoming more and more distant and less likely to commit with you. Men don't do this consciously. It's what science calls a conditioned reflex. You may have heard of Pavlov's experiment with dogs, but maybe you haven't thought about the context of how it applies to people and their relationships. Pavlov would ring a bell and then bring out some food for his group of German shepherds. They'd drool when the food came out. And after a while, he realized that even without the food, they'd drool from just hearing the bell. Now, this experiment wasn't just about dogs. Pavlov's main goal was to understand more about how we as humans think and to prove that the way our brains process information is powerfully linked to the way our bodies physically react. This conditioned reflex idea works in men in basically the same way as that knee-jerk reaction you experience when a doctor taps on that hidden section of your knee. Whether you like the idea or not, you can't stop your knee from jerking. The dogs couldn't stop themselves from drooling, and men aren't immune to it either. It's just scientific fact. It's not about manipulating men, but understanding what it is that we're conditioning them to respond to. We are always conditioning our men to either want to be close to us or to want to run away from us. In order to get a man drool for you, you just have to know how to feed him whenever you're around. How do you feed him? What is he most hungry for? In my experience, having taught thousands of couples with every kind of problem, there's a formula that works just as well as 1 + 1 = 2. The formula is N + R × X = D. Crazy, right? I'll explain it. The N is for being needed. The R is respect, and the S is specifics. Altogether, that creates the D, i.e., the level of desire he'll have for you. The more needed and accepted he feels, and the more respect you show for him in specific areas of his life, the safer he'll feel, which will skyrocket his desire for you. General compliments go right over his head. Now, when you know how to combine them all and increase the value of each of these elements, you're just turning him on like a thermostat. It's so simple that it might even feel a little naughty, but it has never failed to work. Most women try, but have no idea how to activate these pleasure centers. And in fact, the things they're doing to try and bring him closer are actually pushing you further apart. Even if they make the effort for their man to feel needed and respected, they usually put their efforts into the wrong area, which means they don't see results and get tired of trying. These are just a couple of very simple tweaks that you can do starting today. But there are many, many more you can do. For instance, most women say, "I love you," and think that's going to have an impact. And it will, but it's not going to hit the button. It's not really going to meet his deep want to feel needed as a man and respected. Men are far more vulnerable and insecure, more than their ego would allow them to let on. A simple tweak changes that. All you need to do is be more specific. You don't have to stop saying what you want to say. You just need to substitute a couple of the words you're using to allow it to filter through to his man brain. Another trick is, women have this amazing ability to pick up on nonverbal cues. We're intuitive. We see everything. We feel everything. We're so good at it. The thing is, men are pretty hopeless at this. Their brains are different than ours, which can be frustrating for women when it doesn't have to be. To build understanding and intimacy with a man, there are a couple of tricks that will have him quickly opening his heart to you. Facial expressions and indirect language confuses men. You don't have to speak like a man. He just needs to hear you in a way that he connects to. Another thing that closes a man's heart is most men think women want to be right about pretty much everything, or maybe you feel the same about him. Most people deal with this in a way that builds resentment instead of love. Change your approach, and he'll feel validated and safe with you. By taking away the need for a right-wrong outcome, you'll resolve these things instantly. Any bubbling hesitation, any niggling fear or doubt will dissolve as fast as an ice cube in a glass of water on a summer's day. Now, these are just a few very simple tweaks that you can do starting today. But there are many, many more you can do. And once you know what his desires are, and you know the specific steps to meet them, and you do them enough times in enough situations, you become the bell. Every time he sees you, it's ringing in his mind. Every time you walk in the room, he drools a little inside. He squirms a little. He swoons a little. He's going to hunger for you a little. The more you reinforce it, you cause the pleasure of being around you to grow and grow and grow. Once you know the whole system, it's so easy. It's so fun, you won't want to stop doing it. And you can do this with any guy without him even realizing it to get him interested in you. And you can use it on your husband or boyfriend to make them deeply and genuinely yearn for you and have them completely and utterly infatuated with you, even if he's quote unquote burned out, over it, or not feeling in love. Even if you're on the brink of losing him, it won't matter what you look like. Even if you think you're too old, wrinkled, or overweight, none of that matters. Remember, it's all about specific ways of showing him he's respected and needed. And every guy is the same in this way. Follow my instructions for just a few weeks, and he won't be just into you. Your wish will be his command. He'll literally be wholeheartedly committed to making you happy. He's going to find any way he can to satisfy your every need, because suddenly you'll have become his most cherished treasure. Even if he supposedly doesn't have an emotional side, even if he hasn't given you the time of day in years, even if you've just met a man and he's not showing you much interest, you can still learn to generate this pleasure on demand. Believe it or not, it's just science, and it's totally predictable. First, he'll really like you. Then he'll love you. And if you keep going, he'll actually experience feelings of ecstasy when he's around you. His heart will open up to you and only you, and he won't understand why. But he will know that his entire being, everything that makes him the man that he is, depends on being with you and no one else. You'll feel like you've got a hidden button to unlock any man's heart. My inbox is full every single day with emails from women desperately trying to learn this method. There's no possible way I could teach it to everyone. I figured the only way I could possibly do that was to take everything I've ever taught and turn it into a single-step program online. So anyone, anywhere can pick it up and access the incredible results my clients get. Today, for a short period of time, I've decided to reveal the entire system to the public, along with all the ways I've discovered over my 12 years of experience to make it even more powerful. It's a single home study course that anyone can simply pick up, follow along, and watch their love life transform and see the relationships heal, grow, and bloom before their very eyes, just by pushing a single emotional button. I call the course Unlock His Heart, and it's already revolutionizing the lives of women all over the world almost overnight. Once you get inside the course, I'm going to teach you a lot more than that technique. You'll also learn the pleasure amplifier. This shockingly effective tactic uses just 4 words to send him over the edge with desire every single time. You'll want to drop everything and try this one on the spot. The apple pie technique, a simple 2-step process that leaves him feeling completely at peace with you, making him feel around you just as good as he feels around his grandmother's apple pie. Trust me when I tell you, once he gets this from you, a tractor won't be able to pull him away from you. Also, get ready to discover plus the clear history method. Did you do something wrong in the relationship? Is he holding a grudge? With this method, you can delete all that, just like as you clear your browser history. And it only takes 1 short conversation to do it. The awesome reverse love explosion method. In this fast acting method, you'll learn how by the end of this week, you can be experiencing the most explosively passionate nights of your life. And it all starts by ignoring him. This one is weird, I'll admit, but wow, does it work. Ever worry about whether you'll get a second date? I'm going to show you an unusual but insanely powerful thing you can do to not only guarantee the second date, but to have him eagerly anticipating it. Every woman who uses this loves the results. Then I'm going to give you 10 text messages you can send to any man to whip up a frenzy of white-hot desire for you anytime you want. How about this one? A simple psychological process you can do with any man that makes cheating out of the question. Your body language is one of your most powerful weapons. I'll show you 3 subtle tweaks you can make without being tacky that cast a spell of attraction on him before you even say hello. The next concept I call mind sex. This is a way to use a fun little mental game that ends with you and your man experiencing the best sex of your life. Tired of men looking at other women? I'll tell you the reason he can't stop doing it and the solution that eradicates the eye wandering forever. I'm also going to teach you to get men to notice you and approach you without having to change the way you look at all. Trust me, this can do more for your self-esteem than any therapist could. A controversial tweak to your routine in the bedroom that will have him giddy as a 12-year-old with his first edition of Playboy every time you use it. For most men, money takes the number one slot in his mind. You usually come second or third. I'm going to show you how to get him to work just as hard pleasing you as he does for his money, so you're always number one. I'll show you the switch to flip that does exactly that within just a few days. I'll also reveal the money love switch. There is a close relationship between money and love. Both are addictive. I'll show you how to switch his addiction to money into an addiction for you almost overnight. The Romeo method. Think your man doesn't have a romantic side? I'll teach you a very simple move that brings out the soft touch of a Romeo in every man as easily as you turn on a faucet. You're going to feel like you're in a fairy tale. Plus, to ensure absolutely everyone gets extraordinary results, I've arranged the following. I and a professional team of handpicked experts will be there for you to help you implement this system for an entire year from the date of your purchase. That's right. For 365 days, my team and I will be there, answering your every last question and concern, holding your hand, and supporting you in your journey for as long as it takes until we break through together. And I know that we'll get there. How do I know? Because over 2,000 happy members tell me so. But the member that really matters right now is you and your success story. The story that really matters is your own. Allow yourself just a moment to really stop and imagine having a man who commits to you forever from the depths of his mind, body, and soul, and most importantly, in his heart. Imagine what your life will look like when you have a man in your life who surprises you with lunch or chocolate at work, gives you as many massages as you want, and sends you messages just when you're thinking of him. Imagine the feeling of being carried in his arms into a candlelit room with a scented bubble bath, gazing deeply into your eyes and saying, I can't explain what it is about you, but I just can't stop loving you. Well, you can stop imagining now, because now it's time to get your story started. So let's get serious and talk about the price for the Unlock His Heart system. But before we do, let's talk a bit about the price of not having it, because if you're failing at a relationship right now, it's costing you far more than you know. As you know, nothing robs more happiness from you than the stress and heartache of an unsatisfying relationship. When your needs go unsatisfied, it takes a toll on your health, speeds up the aging process, and ultimately leaves most of us spending fortunes on therapy and antidepressants just to make it through the day. What we wouldn't all pay to remove that constant worry and pain from our shoulders? What would we pay to be able to go through life without our deepest need being satisfied fully, our need for love? No number can capture something like that. Then there's the numbers we do know, and I'm going to be very upfront about this. People regularly pay me thousands of dollars for just a few personal coaching sessions with me. They know what their life is worth, and they know the results I achieve and how fast I get them. But today, I'm doing things a bit differently. I've decided at this point in my career that this kind of happiness shouldn't just be available to the rich. Every woman deserves this kind of happiness, no matter what your budget. That's why I've decided to slash the price for this information from the suggested price of $2,000 to $1,000. I realized that this was still out of a lot of people's league, so I slashed it again from $1,000 to $500, and from $500 to $250. And then finally, we went nuts and just decided that we're going to offer the entire Unlock His Heart system for only $97. And if you're one of the first 100 customers, for you, it's going to be just $49.95. That's a huge 50% discount. Once the 100th copy is sold, though, we go back to the regular price of $97, and we keep it there for good. Check the order button below to see if the introductory pricing is still in effect. So, this is it. You're getting my entire career in one step-by-step package for less than the cost of a movie, drinks, and popcorn. But more importantly, you're getting a winning relationship, which is priceless. Now, as good as that price may be, I want you to forget about it completely right now, because it's not going to matter when you hear what I have to say next. And what I have to say is, pay only if you want to. That's right. You can purchase with absolutely no obligation and zero risk. You have 60 full days to decide if it's been worth it to you. And I really insist you be over the moon about this, or I don't want you to pay for it. That means if you're not completely satisfied, you simply let our support desk know. We won't ask questions. We will just send back everything you paid within 24 hours. In fact, we'll let you keep the product as well. It's just our way of saying thanks. Now, that rarely happens with this course, but I want you to have the option. And I'll make some more guarantees while I'm at it. I guarantee you've never experienced your partner like this. I guarantee you'll awaken parts of your soul that you didn't know you had. I guarantee you'll feel happier, healthier, and look younger. And those are just a few of the changes. I know this because I've seen it over and over again. But even with all that, I want to give you even more, because I'm absolutely committed to giving you the best relationship you've ever had in your life. I'm going to add 3 more relationship building products along with your order of Unlock His Heart, completely free. We'll launch these as separate products one day soon, but right now, you'll get all of them completely free with your order. Bonus product number 1 is called Love Signals. With this wildly popular product, you'll learn to read your man's mind like an open book. With just one look at his face, there'll be no more hiding what he really wants after this. Prepare to be shocked when you learn what he's really thinking. That's a $47 product, free with your order today. The second product I'm going to give you is called Word Poison. In this product, I expose commonly used words that slowly but surely destroy the love in a relationship. Odds are you're using at least one of these words on a daily basis, causing devastating resentment and angering your partner that will surely come back to bite. You will entirely reverse this destructive process with the simple awareness of how to identify word poison. That's a $47 product on its own, once again free with your order today. Bonus product number 3 I call Secrets of a Love Therapist. This is a product compiled from interviews and off-the-cuff remarks I made while creating the Unlock His Heart product that were too hot to actually go into it. You'll see why when you get inside. That's an additional $27 value for a grand total of $121 worth of products. Yours free if you order today. Now, at this point, I'd like you to close your eyes for a minute and think. Remember when you were a little girl, those fantasies you had about what life with your husband would be like. Really picture it. All those fantasies, they had them too. And somebody is out there right now, ready to live out those fantasies with you. I know that you're on the threshold of the most exciting days of your life, but first you have to allow me to help you get there. Go out and grab the life you really want. Don't let it slip away, because as of now, you're still on the outside looking in at true love. And if you don't find it here, I don't know where else you will find it. With your permission, I'd like to ask you to join me on the other side of the heartache. Join me on the other side of the pain and find out how good life can really be. Here's what you need to do to get started. Simply hit the yellow button below and fill out the short form on the next page. And then you'll get access to Unlock His Heart instantly. Go ahead and do it now. And let me remind you, you aren't just doing this for you. You're doing this for both of you or your future man. Because once you start using this system, you'll flourish together. You'll look forward to growing old together. And when you find that kind of love, I think you'll both find that you need little else. Simply click the yellow button below and fill out the quick and easy form on the next page. That will give you instant access to the entire Unlock His Heart system, even if it's 3 a.m. Remember, you have absolutely no risk. Here, we've guaranteed every penny because I know this course will change everything for you. If you have any hesitation whatsoever, go do it now. Decide if you want later. We encourage you to do that. So don't feel bad or even think twice about it. Don't say yes, just say maybe, because you deserve this. Click the button now, and I'll be waiting for you on the other side with a kind of crazy surprise. Remember, you have no risk here. I'm guaranteeing results and taking all the financial risk because I know you're going to be so over the moon as soon as you try these techniques that you wouldn't give this product up for the world. Hit the button now. Remember, this page is coming down shortly, and it could be at any moment. If you're still here, that means you're hesitating. And if you're hesitating, you're probably feeling like this will be just like every other course you've seen. Let me assure you, it is not. My strategies are fresh. They were developed in my own practice after coaching over hundreds of couples to totally satisfying relationships. I'm going to make the same promise to you as I do to them. You will succeed so long as you stick with the program. Hit the button now. You have nothing to lose. A few people have asked, will the product be shipped to them? The answer is no. This is a digital product that you can access immediately and for far less money than you'd ever pay with a physical product. I also get asked, can it work on ex-boyfriends? And the answer is a resounding yes. These powerful tools are proven to create commitment, emotional intimacy, and lasting desire with men in all situations. We've seen it work repeatedly, even when a man has moved on. Others ask, how long will it take before I see results? Most women report changes as soon as the first day. The results continue to grow in their effectiveness over a 3-week period, and generally all women are satisfied by their relationship at the end of the 30-day. Now, if you keep in mind our 100% money-back guarantee, you're going to realize that you simply can't lose by ordering now. So be good to yourself and hit the button below, and let's start creating the best relationship you've ever had. You really don't want to turn around 10 years from now and be in the same situation, wishing you'd made another choice. That's the beauty of the guarantee. You get to try it, and even if you return it, you'll still have the strategies you've learned. So go for it. It's time to take this new direction in your life. The most loving, open, and heart-connected relationship is just within your grasp. It all lies behind that button below. This presentation is ending, so this will be your last chance to hit the button. Do it now, and I'll see you inside.